Welcome to this video. My name is Rohan Garrix, and this is intended for persons who have attended or will be attending the Project Management Bootcamp for Entertainment Managers. And what I found is that in managing smaller subsections of a major project, regardless of the size of that project, several people depend on Excel. So I want to make sure that because those teams have Excel available and they're using it, I want to make sure they're using it efficiently. So this video is going to give you some of the knowledge that if you understand these, then you can utilize this as a tool to help you. So these are the objectives. We're going to be looking at some of these things, and a lot of this you will know, some of it will be new to you. And then it's going to all come together once you understand how we apply this in a very complex sense, or what may seem complex, but really all we're doing is some of these 11 steps. If you can understand these 11 steps, which are pretty basic and useful even outside of this application. So let's dive right in. And some of these are just stuff that I've developed over the years and used, and I find that it works. Let's start with adding colors to a tab. So if I wanted to add a reference sheet, you click on the plus sign here, you get a new sheet, but I want to know what is on this sheet. Double clicking in the name of the sheet, which is sheet 8, and calling this reference. Alright, and I want my reference sheet to pop, because for whatever reason I like to color the tabs, and you do that by doing a right click on this tab color, and I'm going to make it black. And then what happens that it becomes a black sheet right there. Now I'm going to start here. I want to rename this main, and I click on it. And then I also want to give it a color. So let's go ahead and give it green. I usually use the more functional one as green. So we want to learn to create a table. And the table we're going to be working with today will have a start date for an activity. It will have the point person in charge. It will have a category. It will have a completion date or completion percentage, and it will have the activity. Now let's say we're adding something else that's going to be expected to be started on the 14th, and I'm going to be responsible for that, and it's going to be a milestone, and currently it's at 0%, and this is to record the video for seminar. And then in managing your projects, you will find that you continue to have a list of things, and they are in different categories. So the next thing that we want to be able to do is I know what my categories are going to be. So on my reference page, let's go ahead, and I usually find it useful to copy my heading for the table on the reference page and just get these a little wider so I can see them. You're not going to use all of these, but for categories, I want to be able to control the list that persons use. And let me show you what the conflicts can be. Let's say we need to test the speakers, and then we need to ship broken speakers. Right, and these all have to happen a month apart. Right, but my warehouse guy is responsible for this, and I am responsible for that. When I'm adding to the list, he may add it as audio, I may add it as sound. And this can create a problem when you're looking to zoom into one category. So I want to control what entries we can have in this section. Now let's convert this into a table first of all before we go any further. You highlight the entire range where you have data, and then you're going to do, from the home page, you're going to format as table, and you can choose one of these. I usually choose one of the more basic ones, lighter colors. And what that does, it creates a table, and then when you go to add data to it, then it populates everything else and it follows the rules. So it helps if you're going to be doing a table to use a table. Now I want to control what goes in here. I want the list to be, I want it to be milestones. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you another way to do that. Let's say I already have a template I'm following and I want to sort of back into this list. I'm copying all of this and I'm going to paste it right here. Now this list has several duplicates on it, and you want to know, okay, what are the unique entries in this list? With the list highlighted, you can then go to the data tab and click on remove duplicates, and you want to just continue with the selection. By removing duplicates, it then tells you that there were 96 duplicates and only 4 unique values, so it removed all of the extra. Now I want to add audio, I want to add lighting, I want to add rigging, and the choice is yours in terms of what you want to add on this list. Now what I'm trying to create on my main list is for me to be able to only have items from this list as options to go here. Now when you highlight this, you then go to the data tab, and then you're going to click on data validation again, and you're going to tell Excel that, hey, allow any value. That's the default, but I don't want you to allow any value. I want you to allow values only from a certain list. Okay, where is this list? You click in the source box and then you navigate to where you have this list stored and you highlight it. I usually highlight a couple empty cells in case I come up with additional criteria. I can literally add it right here. Then you hit OK. So before I hit OK, I'm just showing you what I've done. I'm telling Excel that it should only allow a certain list, and it should, this is where the list is. So when I click OK, then these, I get the drop box here, and the drop box allows you to pick from one of the predetermined values here. So if somebody decides to call this audio, it's going to shout at them and tell them that they can't use it. Unless I did I do audio? I did audio, but sound was there before. And if you notice that green checkbox, and the green checkbox means that there is something funky about that. So if you click on this, it tells you that the value in the cell is invalid because it was there before I made the rule. So now if you try to add sound, it will shout at you and tell you that it's invalid. So you have to choose audio. So what this does for you, it allows you to control the list of categories. And why would you need to control the list of categories? If we were to leave one saying audio and one saying sound, and this one is to buy new speakers, if somebody comes in to try and zoom in on just the audio related things and they select just audio, not realizing that there are some things flagged as sound, then I'm going to end up missing that, and you don't want that to happen. So instead of allowing people to decide on the categories, you want to control that so that when you're searching, you know for sure that you are capturing everything. So that's how you would create a drop list And again, the same thing with the point persons. I'm going to do it real quick just for emphasis. I want my point person list to be I always put all in case it affects everybody. And you can continue with this list as you need to. Now, to get it to read from that list, highlight the section in the table. Go to data, data validation, and then you're going to tell it that you want to read from a list. You go to the source of the list, which I always try and store on my reference sheet. Then you highlight that, and as I said, you can highlight some empty boxes so you can then go and type stuff in here instead of re-recording this instruction for Excel. Then now this becomes a drop down menu, right? And you notice it ended with all. Let's say, oh crap, I forgot that Peter is also there, or Peter just joined the team, and we have Tom who just joined the team, and we have a TD to be determined, but we haven't gotten a name yet. Then once you add them to the empty spaces below, when you come here, they will be a part of the options. Alright, so it's good to always capture those. So that's how you create and use a filter. Now going to the old list, why would you need the filter? How is that going to be super helpful for you? If you wanted to look at only the things that are install related, you can click on that and then you just go to install. And it zooms you right in on the stuff that's installed. You wanted to look at the stuff that's installed that David is responsible for, and then this becomes David's list, right? So that's why you want to be able to use these filters, which I showed you earlier on, how to create that. Now, if you wanted to do a certain action multiple times, like you're always coming in and looking at install versus admin, I'm going to show you how to record some shortcuts. Let's go ahead and insert by right-clicking on the row header. Click insert, it gives you a new row. We're going to make it wider because I want to create a magic button that when I click that button, it goes to just the install list. In order to do that, I go to the developer tab and I'm going to record what is called a macro. When I hit record macro, let's call this one install. It's going to record every step that I take between hitting record macro and stop recording. So what I want it to do, I want it to come to category. I want it to deselect all, select install and hit OK. So I want it to do that action for me in one step. Stop recording. Now, how do I play the macro? I have to insert a shape. You can choose a shape. And you can name the macro by clicking inside here. This one was install. Right? And by clicking here, you can change the shape of this and the size. Now, how do I get this button to magically become my